Good evening and welcome back to our daily live coverage, bringing you the latest update from Kuwait and from the region. Now, joining us in the studio is political analyst, engineer Jassim Qabazard to provide deep insights into regional stability, GCC relations, and the economic impacts of this regional conflict. Engineer Jassim, thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for the invitation. More than happy to be here and join you.
Now, as an analyst, how do you assess the current escalation, and is it a localized conflict or a more of a witnessing fundamental shift in regional security architecture?
From the start, it was meant to be localized, and for a short period of time, the aim was to get very early, let's say, results of achieving the goals of this attack on Iran by the United States and Israel. So it appeared to be is going to be no longer than a few days or maybe a week, and they would finalize materializing their goals, which was directed towards changing the regime in Iran and removing any work that has been done on the nuclear facilities that they have, plus reducing or removing the missile program. And the fourth thing was to back off from proxy wars through Hezbollah and Yemen. So this was the first goal that was supposed to be achieved by the first attack, beheading the leadership and causing really the change of the regime by the people of Iran. As we can see, it wasn't that easy, and the fact that Iran did identify that is going to target American assets in the region, that was the dangerous part. That is the part which we did not believe that that's going to happen. Apparently, through the speeches of President Trump and his administration, that they were not expecting any, let's say, effective retaliation to this attack on American assets, primarily with the American air bases. It turned out with time that it wasn't the same, and both United States and Israel and the world have found out that it wasn't that simple and that Iran was prepared to retaliate. Mind you, Iran has been taking a lot of damage and attacks by the air superiority of the American and the Israeli Air Force. And these effects have shown that it is not going to be an easy attack, getting results. So it started to escalate naturally. And it is apparent that both sides were ready for escalation. Aside from what happened in the seas, the Navy and the air attack, there was no land attack yet. And this situation prolonged the escalation, and it seems that they are not really ready to negotiate. Although the United States is promoting negotiation, and Iran is falling back and says we're not ready because we did it twice, and during the negotiations we got attacked militarily. So they don't believe a third round of negotiation at the time is viable. And unfortunately, that leaves both parties going head-on with each other. The collateral damage, or maybe even direct or indirect damage, is the Gulf nations, the Gulf region. And whatever Iran addressed that is going to attack, it's been doing it. And in a way, there is some transparency, or there's some clarity in the case, and that gives us as people who are not involved in this, don't want to be involved, and we don't have the intention to be involved, we find ourselves that we are given warnings for the public to stay away from these areas which are going to be targets for the Iranian missile attack and drone attack. So, in a nutshell, we are today about 32, 33 days into this.
Yes.
So instead of being a few days, it's now 30 days, and we can talk later, but we can see how the effect it has.
If you don't mind, Engineer Jassim, I would like to comment and maybe discuss a few points you just mentioned earlier.
Yes.
I don't believe we expected the prolongedness of this conflict.
Yes,
and I feel from the other side also stating they're in for specific objectives and they're out of it. But now the conflict is prolonged,
yes,
and the effect of it is not only in this region, but it's affected globally.
Exactly.
So do you feel this was actually anticipated, that it will take this long? Because you mentioned we're into the 33 days so far.
It wasn't anticipated
Or
because it was obviously not anticipated because the United States was the one who started this attack, and it laid the ground for the basis of its attack and the time duration of its attack and the quality of the attack. So we, as not involved in any military involvement, felt that, okay, fine, it seems that this is going to be the case, and that is going to be decisive and, as we say, surgical attack. The fact that it did not turn out to be this way, with time, it became apparent that Iran was stating how it's going to retaliate. Its retaliation was not air-to-air or missile-to-missile policy. Their retaliation was on prolonging, spreading the amount of confrontation to the Gulf states under the reason that they are protecting American interests and they are American bases, so it was targeting these bases. And Iran's policy now has become obvious, was to prolong and spread the problem and make it extend outside the region and go global. Okay, so this is the strategy which was not known, which was not understood. It wasn't pinpointed neither by the United States nor by the Europeans. Russia and China and North Korea were silent. India wasn't saying anything, which they represent the Eastern Bloc of the universe at this time. And the West is obvious, and we as the Gulf cooperation countries are stuck in the middle. So it has become now a state fact that this strategy is actually what Iran has been planning for, and it's maintaining its, let's say, drive to continue on this line, no matter how much damage it's receiving. It has received a lot of damage in the fleet and submarines, and also on ground. This relationship between these two countries is indicating that it's a matter of who can sustain pain longer than the other, because it's painful for both, human-wise and financial-wise. Both are spending money, and it's like two fighters in a boxing ring, and each one is trying to see how much he can hurt the other until the other submits or falls. The nature of these two countries, the United States is far away, so the United States is going to be damaged as a country, but the countries, the allies, whether it's European or whether it's non-European, like Japan and India, they are being affected as an economical effect, not a military effect. So the military damage is happening to us, the Gulf region. And we have become an easy target, and we were never prepared to be in the battlefield, because this is not our policy, never been our policy. We have always have been a very...
It was clear in the beginning that
yes.
Kuwait will not use any of
exactly,
its interest bases for attacks.
Exactly,
It was clear.
All the Gulf states.
Also, there is a bit of a contradictory message that comes out of Iran, and it's because you mentioned, it's interesting you mentioned the strategy of widening the conflict.
Yes,
if Iran's strategy is widening the conflict, the contradictory message that Iran sends out is it's only attacking American interests in the region, but as we've seen in the region, they've attacked civilian facilities, civilian infrastructure, lifeline facilities such as water and desalination plants, electricity grid has been attacked, aviation. Now, this sort of conflict of dragging in the Middle East or putting pressure on the Gulf region, I believe, and please elaborate furthermore, it's not a proper strategy for after the conflict is done. You are cutting ties with Gulf states that have no say in this war at all.
I'm not involved in the strategy planning, but from the announcements which are made, Iran has said that I will retaliate on equal grounds. If you hit my desalination plants, I will hit yours. If you hit my infrastructure such as power stations, I will hit yours. If you hit my nuclear power generated stations, I will do the same. So it's a reaction to what the Americans and the Israelis are doing.
But who's paying the price?
We are, no doubt. We are. Iran is paying more than United States. Israel is a different matter. Israel is getting its share of damage, but United States itself, it is evident that the life of a soldier is very dear. So their type of attack, either from a distance or in a way that the American soldier is not confronting any type of military, let's say, involvement. Although now we're reaching a sort of very, very dangerous, I would say, stage where the United States is actually planning to do ground troops invasion of any sort and anywhere. It's not clear so far.
Also, Trump's message yesterday was clear that he's planning on another military operation in Iran to finalize the conflict. So
he has no choice. He has to continue his drive because the main goals which he started hasn't been achieved. They still, Iran sending rockets and missiles. The regime is still there. The infrastructure hasn't been affected so much. Still, they are hitting infrastructure compounds. So this whole matter is continuing mainly because, you see, there's a problem that if the United States is not attacking any infrastructure, Israel doesn't. So Israel drags the United States behind it with this, it's an obvious policy which is going on. And Israel is very vocal about it. It says, if you don't, I will. So, but Israel, it's obvious, Israel likes to see our nation, the Arab nations have always been against Israel. Destabilized.
Yes.
And our main resources to be damaged because we will get hurt much more than Israel. Israel still has its west side. There's a Mediterranean, he has Turkey, he has other ways to get supplies, whether oil, energy, whatever it requires.
But with this aggression, don't you believe that the Gulf stance, not the Arab, but the Gulf stance specific, grew stronger in the face of the adversaries?
Of course, of course. This is the time where national unity, whether it's in each state or as in totality, national unity is paramount, actually. And this is the time that we, as Gulf states, have to recalculate our political
which clearly mentioned by our foreign minister a couple of days ago,
yes,
when he met with the
yes,
Arab League and said the prospect of the Arab nation needs to be reconfigured,
restructured.
Exactly. Yes.
My personal opinion, my personal take on this is that for many, until now, let's say until a month ago, we depended highly on the West to protect us, and we made continuous business. Our investments, our portfolios are all deposited in the West, Europe and the United States of America. Today, we are faced with a reality where our money outside is not helping the security of the country. It's not helping our power stations.
There's no return of investment in that sense.
In that sense, yes. Maybe financially, but physically, no, we are losing. My take on this is it's about time that the Arab, I like to say the Arabian Peninsula, from the Red Sea to the Arabian Gulf, us.
Yes.
We have to now decide that, okay, we do not want to disconnect the United States or the West, nor we want to disconnect with the East, whether it's Iran and its allies. We should act as a unified body where we have geographical, strategical location. We are the doorway between the East and West.
Yes.
We have two important commercial seas, the Arabian Gulf and the Red Sea. You have Hormuz and you have Bab el-Mandeb. So actually, we are holding the important bottlenecks of commerce, international commerce, at pretty much under our control. Okay, so it is now becoming evident Hormuz wasn't part of the whole deal. Okay, although at an earlier stage Iran did wave the flag that I'm going to close Hormuz, but it didn't appear to be as important and as has its own repercussions on the international commerce as when it actually became closed. Closed maybe not by physically, but it's closed by control. So Iran is controlling it through military actions.
Dr. Jassim, Engineer Jassim, I want to discuss the Hormuz and the economic impact in a bit, but I want to go back to a specific point in the beginning of our discussion about the repercussions of the aggression on the Gulf. Now, when speaking on the impact on Kuwait, given our geographic proximity, what are the immediate strategic risks to Kuwait's sovereignty and domestic stability during the ongoing aggression?
Being an engineer in background, and I have 50 years of hands-on experience in Kuwait. I've seen my country develop. I've been from the borders to the city of all sides, sea, air, and airport projects, sea projects, roads, and what have you. We have very vulnerable locations in our country. And it's not rocket science. It's open to the world. You go and see it through Google. You can see everything. So we have locations of our power stations, in our desalination locations, and our oil fields, okay, and the oil industry. These are locations which, unfortunately, are a very easy target.
Easy and open target,
Easy and open target. And because our nation has always been a peace-loving nation, we never thought that we should fortify these areas with immense amount of anti-rocket, anti-missile, anti-whatever military systems to protect them. So we are vulnerable, and now is no time, there's no time to prepare yourself for this. Unfortunately, I don't want to frighten our viewers. They don't have to hit a desalination plant. Iran, if it is just the water, the power, you cut the power, the desalination plants will not work. There's so much they can work on emergency electricity, but they cannot go on a long time. There's a grid prepared between the Gulf stations, water and electricity grid, so that in terms of, in case of there's an emergency, one neighbor supports the other neighbor.
Which we've seen sometimes during summertime when there's
exactly.
Yes.
But now, the whole grid is being hit. So we both, all the partners are in trouble, physical trouble. And alhamdulillah, until now, it hasn't reached to the degree where we completely lose our power stations or desalination plants. Not only this, there's a fact that has been lots of, like a shadow on Kuwait and all the Gulf states, is that the degree of salt in the Gulf, in the Arabian Gulf water, has been increasing with time.
Okay.
Because for years and years and years, all these desalination plants are withdrawing fresh water, let's say less salty water, and burn it, boil it, and return salt into the water.
Okay.
So it takes less salty water and then disperses high salinity into the Gulf.
Okay.
And the degree of salt during life, let's say 40, 50 years, has reached a very, very high level that if we continue like this and we do not find other ways to get water, the salinity may reach a level that you cannot even desalinate it anymore.
Okay.
Okay? That's a very fact that we are facing with. And it's not talked about because it causes panic, actually, if you want to go deeper into this. However, in time of peace, where we thought of the grid, we thought of helping each other, it worked. Even sometimes we get some electricity from Iraq, and vice versa. We've been supplying them with electricity. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is in a better position because they have the Red Sea on one side. So the predicament that they are in is much less, maybe 30, 40%. They have more safety into their system than we do. So this situation, if it continues, hoping that Iran does not attack these very, very vital infrastructure locations. But the problem is not the United States, the problem is Israel. If the United States becomes lenient on this, becomes, let's say, a bit more humane about this, Israel does not allow it. And we've had some attacks happening where after 3-4 days, Iran said that I didn't do it, like the one that happened in Oman.
Yes.
Even the water, the oil industry in Saudi Arabia. 3 days ago, His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed mentioned that we found out that Israel hit us. It wasn't Iran. So you have a very nasty enemy sitting there and picks on these items so that aggravates Iran by hitting Iranian what do you call them? Power station infrastructure. And Iran says, if you do that, I have no choice but to hit the Gulf, and which is not fair. It's not fair from a humanitarian point of view. Military, I mean, you are really hurting the people, the innocent people.
Exactly.
There are innocent people in Iran, innocent people in Israel, innocent people in our region. So the people shouldn't be dragged into this and Of course, you do get some shrapnels, you get some parts of missiles in the air, they're going to fall somewhere, unfortunately on us. And you hope that you're lucky not to have any human damage done.
Engineer Jassim, you raised quite a few interesting points. We will probably discuss it even more.
Yes.
But let's take a quick break and we'll continue our discussion.
Please, yes, let's take a break.
Stay tuned.
Thank you.
Welcome back to our daily live coverage. Still with me in the studio is our esteemed guest, Engineer Jassim Qabazard, who's giving us insights on what's happening with this conflict. You mentioned earlier a lot of interesting points, and we would love to discuss some of them. But I want to shed light on the Strait of Hormuz.
Yes.
You have previously analyzed the economic impact of this waterway.
Yes.
Now, if the strait is fully obstructed by the conflict, what is the plan B for Kuwait in oil exports?
We have no plan B. Saudi Arabia did prepare a plan B by putting a pipeline that takes from the east side of Saudi Arabia to the west towards the Red Sea. And that pipeline started with 3 to 4 million per day of oil.
Yes.
And it's gone up to 7 to maybe 10. That is not enough. It doesn't satisfy the need of the world. The Hormuz passes through 20 million per day on a continuous basis.
Yes.
And should, God forbid, this Saudi pipeline gets also attacked in more than one location, because a pipeline you can fix it, let's say, within a few days or maybe weeks. But if it gets hit on strategic locations and causes damage, even that pipeline would stop. However, we as Kuwait, we are very, very vulnerable. Especially you're talking about oil. Oil, you're talking about millions of gallons a day. The only source is either by land, you put it on tankers and take it to the Red Sea through...
which has never been done before.
Never been done before, and you can imagine
it's
now...
economically unfeasible
It's not feasible.
Yes.
Where can you get that amount of tankers? And if Iran finds out you have this, she's going to hit 1 or 2 or 3 of these tankers. Again, you'll be in the same problem.
Risk, yes.
Or go to the source of it. The source, the supply of oil is coming from the refineries and from the oil industry. If that gets hit, even you cannot export anything. You see, if the price of oil keeps going up, on paper, it sounds good for our economy. But if you cannot extract it, you cannot sell it, this price doesn't mean anything.
And it's not so far.
Yes.
And
it only happened that Trump allowed some of the oil which was on its way out from Hormuz to continue its way and sell it, because they were already passed through Hormuz and they were in the Arabian Ocean and they were going to their clients, but at a controlled price. So he allowed it to be sold at the high price, which is $79, $80. This gave Iran some kind of a financial boost. And inside America, the people there says, what are you doing? You are trying to damage Iran, and yet you allow it to sell its oil at a higher price. That indicates the sensitivity, the commercial sensitivity of Hormuz Straits. Okay, so whatever passes through there today is worth a lot of money. And regrettably, Iran is now capitalizing on this and charging $2 million for every ship that wants to pass through, provided it's not American nor Israeli or whatever supports any American interests. I mean, for let's say India, for Japan.
It was announced, but has it been implemented? Because I know a few Asian nations directly negotiate with Iran of the release of a few vessels through the Strait of Hormuz, but there was no mention about the cost or taxes or the tolls that for it to cross. It was proposed. I don't think this will be agreed, because this is another issue we'd like to discuss, is where the Gulf states stand with the Strait of Hormuz.
Gulf states?
Yes. Because we do have a say in the Strait of Hormuz.
Yes. Recently, a tanker from the Emirates tried to pass, and it was hit by Iranian. So the Iranian is using military to stop them from happening.
Yes.
I don't know how they investigate on the paperwork of these tankers that are passing to decide whether they are dangerous for the safety of Iran or they are friendly. But there's a way that they're doing it, and it's been announced. I mean, I follow up my sources of news not so much from the well-known stations. I go to the analysts, and analysts have plenty of time and freedom to speak. And when I hear to about 10 different stations, Arabic speaking and American or British speaking, I don't listen to Iranian channels because definitely they will be very biased. So
Yes.
there's no need to listen to or spend time, although I can understand what they say. However, I make like an analysis and come up with conclusions as to where the trend of the news is. Those countries who are quiet are those countries that are getting their oil passing through Iran.
Yes.
But outside, from Europe, the information is coming out that Iran is charging each vessel, these are 500,000 tons of oil, $2 million for each pass. For them, it's a viable thing. And even the insurance companies are reducing their insurance because they feel that these ships are safe. They're not going to be attacked. But any other type of ship, they do not either insure it or increase the insurance 300, 400 times. So there is a benefit going for those countries. And Iran, I think, is playing it at least, let's say, economically in an intelligent way to keep those as friends. India, for instance, needs the gas from Qatar.
Yes.
And gas for India is vital. Through some of these reports, within a month, the season of agriculture starts, and they need urea, they need fertilizer.
Yes.
And 30–40% of the world's need of fertilizer was coming out of Qatar. That has stopped. So whatever is on its way is going to barely meet the demand. Already they are in panic station because agriculture cannot wait a month or two. Yeah, it's a season.
Yes.
Otherwise, they have to wait 6, 7, 8 months.
It will affect the global supply.
Exactly, and it will affect also other nations who need this urea. There is another mineral which comes out of there, which is used in the chips of IT chips, telephones and computers and so forth.
Computer chips.
It's also coming out from the Gulf region. So it's affecting not only food, it's affecting the lifestyle of the world, of the whole world. So it's these repercussions. The more the European and the people who are using these raw materials start to indicate and be vocal about fear, the more Iran becomes more strong, more controlling the flow of these raw materials so that it can create international pressure other than military on the world to find a way to stop this aggression on Iran. So that's the strategy now has become war. By the way, now there are some indications that we still haven't activated the Houthis at the Bab al-Mandeb. That's another stronghold, another strangling hold. So the Houthis have started.
And we've noticed in the past the Houthi attacking a few shipping.
Yes. It did it, and it also, United States for a few weeks did bring military navy, and they didn't want to risk it anymore because they could not maneuver away from the missiles. So they moved out of this confrontation.
I would come back to this point about the Bab al-Mandeb in a later on, but I want to also touch base on a point we talked about earlier, which is the GCC solidarity.
Yes.
How effective has the unified GCC response has been so far, and are we seeing truly collective defense, or member states are actually navigating this individually?
No, I think recently, maybe in about 2 weeks ago, there was a pact where Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Kuwait, Bahrain, and the Emirates, 5, made some kind of a conference to unify how to deal with the situation. I'm sure militarily as a priority and commercially. Qatar did not agree to be part of this pact, and Oman didn't. So these two stayed away from this agreement between them. How much this agreement has manifested its goals, I can't see. It's all, okay, we are together. Perhaps the upcoming ground troops that is expected to happen by the United States may come through this agreement that's happened, these 5 Gulf state nations. Because Jordan is not a Gulf state nation, but has become part of this. And Jordan has played a huge, important military base to support the air attacks into Iran. And most of the radar systems, which were hit later on, but they were located in the Gulf region, were feeding the main base, which was in Jordan. And that's why I believe Jordan is involved in this, because militarily that shows that the presence of Jordan was a necessity to be part of this. I hope that it doesn't reach that level where all 5 countries, including Kuwait, would get involved in military action. We can't tell the policymakers what they have in their mind, but we can try to read between the lines as to, it seems to be an obvious conclusion that you come to, that these nations get together to protect, first of all, its people, protect its infrastructure, and to protect the better interests of the region with respect to the world. The world wants to know who they are dealing with. We are the suppliers of oil. I'm sure our clients who have bought the oil want to see what are we going to do about this.
It's an international interest.
It's an international interest. And we have to act accordingly to at least to give them some kind of a confidence that we are doing something about it as a group and not as individual states.
I do believe that the key issue here is pursuing diplomacy to the furthest. All the region have a unified message that we have the right to self-defense.
Definitely, yes.
None has been so far indicating that there will be retaliation.
Yes.
As of now, our stance will continue to be in the rights to self-defense and pursuing a diplomatic end to this crisis. Now,
may I just add?
Please, yes.
Even Iran, who was not the aggressor, who was in the vendor, even Iran, its better interest is not to continue military, because military is damaging. Okay? And it's always indicating that he's retaliating. Self-defense.
Yes.
So that means they prefer peace rather than war. However, their indication is their sustained peace, not a temporary peace, which makes sense. Even us, as Gulf region, we don't like to see any repercussions. We don't want to see any this war in any other form comes back to our region, because it's damaging at all aspects. Whether we are damaged directly or indirectly, but the whole world is also dragged behind us in this operation. So peace, diplomacy has always been by the way, this has been the strong point of the Arab nations.
Yes.
I'm talking about our region, the Gulf, the GCC. We know this, and the world knows this, and the world does not expect from us to be a military might, rather than
our power
good businessmen.
is with diplomacy.
Be good businessmen and make everybody happy.
Yes. Now, it's interesting you mentioned the strategy of Iran. And we've also been, when we follow the news, there's a lot of contradiction that we receive from both the Iranian regime and the other media outlets. When it comes to understanding the perspective of Iran, is there an end game in Iran's strategy book?
I hope so, mainly.
Because when they say, because you said earlier there is a retaliatory action against the region because of the attacks, but we see it more different. I want to understand, how is this part of their strategy to end the conflict?
Let's look at the facts. The old-timers who were running the country, from political and from military and from security, had all been assassinated. Okay, so now you're talking about the second generation.
Yes.
Okay, less experienced, I could even say less experienced generation. And these are from the younger generation who look into the future more positively and more realistically. I hope that these replacement of the, let's say, old regime, no matter how much they are affected by this war, is that they actually come to their senses and find a way to minimize and slow down these attacks, provided Israel does not agitate the situation. The West is willing, most likely have always been willing to deal with us, with Iran, with Turkey, with everybody, on peaceful means and peaceful way of communication and exchange of commerce. And even America. But it's Israel is the one who keeps agitating everybody one way or the other. My take on this, if the United States tells Israel, I've given you enough support, no more, I believe Israel will just turn off. It will not continue its aggression anywhere. No Lebanon, no Iran. Because right now, it's like a dog who sees the master sitting next to him. As long as it's next to him, the dog is very vicious. As soon as it disappears, he feels, no, I'm not as strong as I am. So the support of the United States is the driving force behind Israel to continue its aggression. Recently, through the media that I follow, the politics in the United States, the pro-Israeli politics became so strong, they were waiting for this opportunity. So President Trump came the right person at the right time for the Israeli lobby in the Senate and in the House of Representatives, that all found it as the best opportunity to attack Iran and to spread their power in our region. Iran is not all what they're after. We are also under, I would say, under their wish to control us.
Yes.
Or at least control our resources. Maybe they're not interested in us as people, but definitely our oil wells, the Strait of Hormuz, the Shatt al-Arab, all these things are commercial routes. So any country, be it the United States, Europe, Iran, anybody, is very much interested to control this area. And it's up to us to show solidarity and wisdom. At the end, we are people and we can talk and we can make deals, and people are more interested to make political deals rather than military enforced deals. Therefore, the whole region right now, every day are becoming more and more important internationally. Important internationally. And I hope that we can get allies that would side by us and insert pressure on Israel and on the United States to calm down, because everybody else is being affected now. And that's why the strategy of Iran is, in the long term, is becoming more effective to its advantage by letting the world start screaming from pain. And each country has its own problems, but they all meet that the resources that coming out of our region, whether be it through the Red Sea or be it through the Arabian Gulf, are vital for the existence of these nations, European and American. And also we're talking about the far, we're talking about Japan and China. Even China is affected by it.
So if we want to talk about the path to de-escalation, now in your view, what is the single most important red line that, if crossed, would make a total regional war inevitable? Because you said a lot of them are interested in this region.
Yes.
But at the end,
I tell you, if really the West, okay, maybe not included the United States, it always tries to show that we don't need anybody. And as you can see recently, they are saying to NATO countries, we don't need you anymore. All right? And he's breaking away the friendly relationship and the joint interest relationships because of this war. They are not willing to participate in this war. He expected from them, they not participated. So going back to our region, the infrastructure that we have, I would say, is the most critical last station, that in case this infrastructure gets damaged, definitely the world's going to suffer. Meaning, right now, if you hit, let's say, part of a power plant, part of a oil industry, you're not stopping it from production. You may, through few months, few weeks, fix it and do it again. But if it hits the oil wells, like during the invasion of Iraq, then that's almost an irreversible problem. And you're talking about thousands of oil wells. And they are all concentrated, and they know what they are, and very easy, open desert, there's nothing to stop it, and no way you can put Patriot on every oil well. If it comes to that, that would be the nightmare scenario for us, God forbid, for Iran, and even for the West. So I believe, by the way, there's another step, which is the Bab el-Mandeb. Bab el-Mandeb still is a breathing avenue for the region, because the transfer of commerce doesn't have to come through Hormuz. It still can go through the Red Sea and to Suez Canal and so forth. But if that closes, then the amount of financial burden that comes on all trade is going to be exponential. And it will be so difficult to control, and its repercussions are going to directly affect human beings all over the world. Because we are, as people, vulnerable. We need air, we need water, we need electricity, we need food to function. And there are many of us. We're not an army that is killing. We're talking about millions and millions of human beings, let alone the resource of a country. Agricultural, industrial, all these venues of lifestyle. And it's no longer a difficult formula. You can easily now calculate financially how each element of resources of the oil and gas is affecting all the other products. So I believe that sooner or later, either the world has to start pressurizing everybody, including Iran, including Israel, and including United States of America. Iran is depending on the technology it's getting from Russia, from China, and from North Korea for its ballistic system. It's obvious because it needs satellites. It doesn't need the GPS because GPS is controlled. So if they turn off the GPS, the missile will lose its way. So there is another system which is helping these missiles to get to their targets aside from the GPS system. So that means the Eastern power in Russia and in China have a say in this. But they're silent. They're not vocal about it so that they do not get dragged into it. The moment they open their mouth, that makes the West put a new front, and we get in a completely different game, war game.
I believe that after this crisis dissipates, there will be a lot of restructuring of because now globally they know the impact of this region, how it affects the whole world.
Exactly.
Engineer Jassim, it's always a pleasure to have you here with us, and we wish you come back again and help us review the daily ongoing in the region, because your insights are very helpful, and it opens up a lot of opportunity for discussions with you. I
thank Allah because I know, I studied in the United States and I always educate myself. I never stop educating, no matter how old I get. I listen to lots of resources, a lot of trying to make my own judgment on these things. So the fact that I could understand between the lines, whether they are Arabic programs, analysts talking, or about British or American, but I could build up a nice conclusion with my own background. So Alhamdulillah on this, and I thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share this information with you and with your respectful viewers.
Well, as we end our daily live coverage, the picture before us is clear, yet heavy with responsibility. Through our 3 detailed reports, we have seen the tangible impact of the escalation, from the damage of our vital gateways to the tireless work of our air defense teams who remain our first line of protection. Our distinguished guests have provided us with the strategic, political, and military context needed to understand this pivot point in our history. The message from Kuwait tonight is one of unity. Kuwait stands firm. We are not merely observers. We are a nation that prioritizes the safety of its citizens and the sanctity of its soil above all else. We urge all our viewers to follow the official directive of the Ministry of Interior and the Civil Defenses. In times of trial, our strength has always been our cohesion and our trust in our leadership of this land. I want to thank our guests for their insights and our correspondent for their bravery. Most importantly, I want to thank you for joining us, and we'll continue to bring you around-the-clock updates as the situation develops. Take care.